Hi guys, it's me, Susan. Welcome to Cruisin' with Susan. Today's Memorial Day, which like all Monday holidays, is a boon to procrastinators everywhere. We get an extra day when we're planning our weekends to shove all the stuff into that we didn't get done on Saturday and Sunday. And if you're wondering, do we get it done today? Well, I don't know. The fact that I'm doing this video after having planned to do it for a long time may be encouraging, but it's really because all of my decoy activities or other things that I usually put in the way for various reasons are not possible today. So by default, I'm getting it done. But anyway, I want to share some of my tips with you because I'm much better than I used to be. I was raised by one of the outstanding procrastinators of all time, my dad. And so I kind of, we joked about it with him, but I didn't really see how deeply ingrained it was in me until after my husband passed away, because he was for the 25 years that I was married to him, he was a doer. He got things done. He prompted me to get things done. Cleaning, organizing, all of those things that do not come naturally to me. He was the motivator. And I greatly appreciate all the training I got. But after he is not around anymore to motivate me, I have kind of slid back into some, although not all of my old habits. So, but I've also been really making progress, and I want to share some of that with you today. The first tip that I have relates to the idea of do it on your own terms, because it's about being realistic. Don't make assumptions based on how other people are or how you think you should do it. I have found that the shorter the list, the better for a given day or period of time. Having too long of a list can be discouraging, and even if you do several things, if you've got a huge list, you have much longer number of things that still have to be done, and that can be a little discouraging. So on any given day, I might start with a list of 3 things that I have to do, and I can add to it as I cross them off, but I don't make the whole giant list. The other thing that works totally for me, and this is something I've come up with over time, is I take frequent breaks. When I'm doing my yard, I will do some edging, and then I'll come sit on my patio and play a game on my phone for 5 minutes. I mean, this may be ridiculous to some people, but I think part of my being realistic with myself is that if I just think of the whole job, the whole thing that I have to do, the whole stack of paperwork I have to go through, or something like that, it makes me tend to get overwhelmed in advance. So I put it off because it seems like a real drag. So for instance, with the yard, the other day it was getting towards the end of the day. Of course, I hadn't done it earlier, but in San Antonio it's too hot to do it earlier anyway. And I said to myself, just go and edge. You don't have to mow. Just do the edging. That felt doable, as opposed to complete the whole yard. So I got out there, and the edging it was over so quickly. I have a small yard, which helps, but I went ahead and did the mowing. But not because I had told myself at the very beginning, you've got to do the whole yard, because then I probably wouldn't have even started. And I don't want to call it lazy, but we can call it lazy if you want to. I'm too lazy to get up and just go full speed ahead and do a big job. But if I say to myself, you can do a little job, you can do a little piece of it, I'm likely to get started. Now, I may or may not go ahead and do another piece after that, but it gives me a feeling of at least I did something, instead of just put it off and then have the whole big fat thing sitting there on the list staring at me and making me feel bad about it. Of course, the thing on the list doesn't make me feel bad. I make myself feel bad, but I've realized that's how it works. So I'll take breaks. I'll stop in the middle of something and go do something else, or go call a friend, or go, I don't know, because it breaks it up into something that makes it more manageable for me. So the most important thing really is to find out what works for you and try to do that. And I know for most people, unreasonable expectations are unreasonable for them. Maybe somebody else does it that way. You don't have to do it that way unless you're a kid and your parents are telling you what to do, in which case, I'm very sorry, but you're kind of stuck with that until you get old enough to make your own decisions. You certainly can talk to them about it and tell them it would work better for you to do it another way, but good luck with that. So one mantra that I want to share with you about this, about overcoming procrastination, is actually a replacement mantra. I finally realized that what I was saying to myself over and over again was, how much time do I have left before it absolutely has to be done? This is a holdover from days when, school days, when papers had to be done, projects had to be turned in. In the office now, it's like paperwork has to be submitted. When I get a request for records, or for an update on a patient, I look for the date that it's due, and pretty much still I'm doing it that day, which is not always good. But anyway, so the old mantra is, how much time do I have left before this has to be done? How long can I put it off? Notice yourself when you're thinking about a task you don't particularly want to do. And you notice this never happens with stuff we do want to do. We're right there to get that done. Like have fun, or go to the movies, or go to a party. We don't say how long, unless you're an introvert. You don't say, how long can I wait before I absolutely have to go? So that's notice your mantra. How long? Notice yourself doing it. The first step is always awareness. Notice yourself putting it off. You don't have to not do it, just notice it. That's the first level of awareness. You can't fix what you don't see. If you just do it without even thinking, you just don't get around to something, it's going to be harder to change that behavior. But if you notice yourself saying, oh, I don't have to do this until Sunday night. This isn't due until Monday morning. And now, with Memorial Day, it's not due until Tuesday morning. Good. So it goes out of your mind for the moment. However, it sits in the back of your mind because you can't forget about it. It still has to be done. So it's taking up space in your head. It's still on the list, and you will probably multiple times have to go back and move it again. Oh, that thing is on my list. Yeah, but I don't have to do that until such and such a time. Here's the mantra that I have substituted for that is starting to work really well for me, but it won't work until you've practiced it and actually succeeded with it a few times. What I say is, do it now and get it over with. And saying that reminds me of the relief that comes when a job is done, when a task is completed. Putting it off gives you some relief because you don't have to do it right now, but it doesn't really. It just moves it in your head from the moment that you're in to another moment. So there's some relief of the avoidance, but there's no relief of accomplishment, no sense of success. So when you say do it now and get it over with, and you actually do it now and get it over with, the relief is tremendous. It's more than just relief. It's pride. It's a feeling of, all right. And it's a great feeling, but you have to actually have it a few times so that you can realize it's much better than the putting it off feeling. Okay? So those are the steps. Be realistic about your what you're asking of yourself. Know your own what works for you, whether you need little rewards, whether you need a different kind of structure than just the plow ahead and do everything right away. Have a short list and use your mantra. First of all, notice the one you're using. Put it off. How long do I have to wait before I have to do this? Just notice that, and then practice substituting do it now and get it over with. You may find after you succeed at that a few times that you're weighing both, do it now, put it off, do it now, put it off, and you're going to start coming down on the side of do it now, especially because, based on the earlier points I made, the it that you have to do isn't necessarily the whole giant thing. It's just a piece of it. But do it now and get it over with starts to be a real helpful motivator to allow you to go forward and pick off chunks of this, whatever it is, whatever the problem is, the task that you have to do. Works really well for me. It's working better and better, and I hope that you get something out of this, out of some of these ideas yourself. Okay, and let me know. Give me some feedback and comments if you find it helpful. Okay, until the next time, I want to remind you to live well, laugh often, and love much. And I'll see you soon on Cruisin' with Susan. Bye.